Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Greg Brown, the new state champion. 5 years in a row.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
I mean, is that sunk in yet? That it's been. I mean, last year we were sitting right here, in the studio when we were talking about this year, and we went through four. Now it's five. Is that surreal now?
It's surreal. I don't know how real it is. Feeling right now, and I say that almost after a lot of our wins. And yeah, this one was unique in its own right. Just what we had to overcome this year is pretty special. You can hear it in my voice still. It was a lot of hard work this year, and every year is a lot of hard work. This one we had a different roster. We had a bunch of guys that got to watch it in the past years, but not necessarily have a big role in winning. And this year, the guys, a lot of these new guys had the big role in us winning and being successful. And man, they did a great job. So yeah, it's starting to set in a little bit though.
Well, I got to bring up Coach Smith, okay? Because I had, he's, I don't know if you've noticed, we always talk with him.
Yes.
Anywhere from, whenever I can get a smile out of him, I can get a smile and make him, get back to reality of the game. But I remember at the beginning of the year, one of the games, I actually sat down for 5 to 10 minutes with him and talked about this year and what we did. And there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of not doubt that you could repeat. Okay, it was there was a lot of enthusiasm among the other coaches that there's a chance that they could come in and win. And him and I sit down and we just analyzed it was going to be a tough road to do. But once they learned the roles, he felt really confident, and it was great for me to watch. I talked to you a lot, but I started talking with him a lot, and just kind of got a good feeling of what was going on and watching things. And it's your experience as a coach. I mean, you changed. I mean, you used to you'd play up and down, and then all of a sudden you went back to some of your your earlier days when you were coaching. Speak on that.
Well, first of all, talking to Coach Frank Smith before a game is always a good choice. So because he's a guy in our program who has a great sense of balance, and he's been with us for every basically successful game run that we've had, all the way going back to I think 2012. His kids played in our program. So he's been with us for, we're looking at, close to 20 years. And Coach Smith, what he does is he has a segment before we play where he spends about 5 to 8 minutes and he pregame talks us and gets us ready. And he has a gift to get guys ready. He's our C-team coach, but he spends time kind of feeling the pulse of our team, and he has a good understanding of what we need before a game. So you talking to him before a game is a good thing. I'm all over the place and trying to stay locked in as much as I can, but I got a lot of stress and nerves, and even being in it for as long as I have, man, you just always think about worst case scenarios, and do we cover this? Are we ready for that? And so talking to Coach Smith is a great thing, and we appreciate him so much, man. And so this year, to answer your question, sorry, we didn't play with as much tempo, up tempo as we have in the past. We did like to get out in the early break, especially when David Lund got a rebound or he got to an outlet, and we got to space around him with middle drives and transition. But we were a set play team. We did have some good flow. But we were a team that we needed the ball in certain areas at certain times, and even early in the game, but for sure late in the game. And so that definitely was our identity, is to be controlled, be efficient with our possessions. And man, we did a good job of that late in the season.
Well, and Lund did a great job of taking on that role. I mean, before he was, kind of the second guy, second tier, and it took a couple of games because he was trying. I thought, this is my, you may have a different perspective, but I think he was trying too hard. He got in foul trouble and kind of, sped up. He tried to speed his game up, and it, was the first 2 or 3 games didn't flow as the end of the season.
Yeah, and so what happened with David is, he started trusting his teammates more, and he'll tell you that. There was a lot of feelings that he had to carry us. He had to carry everybody's weight, and you can't win that way. I mean, Kenyon couldn't do that. Kenyon really trusted his teammates in the past, and so David looked at that and made those connections of, you know what, I have a good example of how to do this. I do need to be the guy. So when it comes down to it, I do need to make the play. But he understood that sometimes the play wasn't always for him. It might have been the play for Spirit. It might have been the play for Finn. And once he started trusting his teammates, I believe his teammates got confidence, and our pieces kind of started fitting a little bit better together.
I felt it. I mean, I just could, and that's one thing. I'm going to go back to probably Coach Smith a lot, because I talked. I did probably 7 games, call games. He'd always take a minute or two and just kind of give me a feeling where the team was. Okay, and I think the biggest thing I noticed is the preparation before the games. I mean, from the beginning, it got more concentrated as the year went by.
It did. And so preparation is huge for us. And we do it in our way. I don't know how other teams do it. But we do want to be prepared as possible. And the reason why is because it gives us confidence. And we don't want something to happen in the game, especially in the pit, for it to happen and it to be the first time we see it or we feel it. What it gave us confidence and gives us confidence down the stretch of these seasons and these tournaments are, we've been here before. There's nothing that is going to happen on this floor that we haven't seen. And it's not that these guys got to experience it in the pit in the past. It's like, hey, throughout the year, we've had these experiences. We played La Cueva. We've had games with Rio Rancho. They've gone down to the end. We've seen this zone. We know our sets in these certain situations. So have confidence in yourself and your teammates in every situation that we can be at our best. And so the preparation was key for us.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go to the Everguard Roofing Top 10 Plays of the Week, and then we're going to come back and talk more about your quest for the state championship.
Sure.
Pipkin. Ball in now. Great dish inside. The big-to-big connection.
That was one of the best passes of the game already, and it came.
Spins that for Nathan Gonzalez, and then it's picked out by McCoy to Stiff to the buckets.
All these players, they know how to shoot the three.
As Sosi,
bank
shot. Top glass goes Allison Sosi.
43.
Vega's playing with fire with that 4th personal foul.
Another steal. There's Vega 2-on-1. Dishes it to Campbell, lays it up, puts it in, scores in his foul.
And if Coach Woody's like...
Trayvon Bonds. Bonds hands off to Holland. Holland wants it from way downtown. He's got it!
Exactly what you don't want to see on the Logan side.
Is their leader. Inside to Nunez. Back outside to Sanchez. Fires a deep 3. Boom! On Nico Sanchez.
Remy lost his footing. And Houston Brown comes away with it.
Ahead
of the pack. Lon slam! Dunk! One-hand highlight reel! Martinez. Almost a shuffle down there. Turnaround off the windows. Good! And that'll give the Rams the lead heading into the locker room.
No, Romero the rebound. Another three-pointer, no. Gallegos gets the rebound. He's going to get a 3 off. It's good! buzzer! Nine seconds left. Let's see what they drew up. It was a pretty quick timeout that they took. Oh, and Mesa Vista nearly traveled a deep three.
Oh,
yes! And the clock hit it.
Welcome back to Steve Davis showing up. Special guest Greg Brown, and congratulations on another state championship. I know that it's kind of a big relief because it's the fourth in a row, and then a new, basically really a new squad. I mean, players that have been there, but also they haven't played their roles. Okay, and their roles have changed, and it was fun for me to watch and to see how you developed and how the team developed, and then also how you change your coaching just a little bit, and how because I coached against you when you coached that way, so it was neat to see that your team responded to that. I mean, that was a big adjustment for them because they're used to going up and down and having a little bit more freedom and things like that, and it was kind of a work in progress.
It was. There was a lot of moments in the game where I see myself, not that I try to watch myself on film, but I'll see myself on film putting two hands up just to say, stop. We've got to get this thing under control. And that's kind of how this year's team was, is that we needed to be under control. We need to be understanding of where our strengths are and where. We're dealing with high school kids. And a lot of them want to kind of step outside of the system at times. And we like that. Like you saw Luis Gonzalez. Within our system, we want him to be who he is because we feel like Luis is a kid that has a lot of confidence and he has an ability to win a one-on-one battle. And so we wanted to use that within our system. So everybody was bought into that. When Luis came in, let's try to take some weight off of David now and let's go to Luis and get him going, because when Luis gets going, it gets us going. And Finn, you guys saw Finn this year, and Finn Fitak was a weapon for us. A lot of people compare him to Ryan Gonzalez, just their abilities to shoot, man. And Finn definitely played that Ryan role to where we could trust him, and he's bailed us out. Of course, the Rio Rancho game, but there's a lot of moments where we needed a big shot, and just like Ryan Gonzalez, Finn stepped forward for us. And so these pieces, man, were important to us. Eli Covell, Spree, Houston Brown, man, it was a cool puzzle to put together. But we'll say this, it doesn't happen without Drayden. Drayden's injury hit us hard. But the way Drayden handled his injury gave us life. And he made a choice to handle his injury in a way that keep connected with us. And if I read you some of the text messages he sent to the guys, it was spiritual, man. It was inspirational. And we were playing for number 5 because he was number 5 this year.
And I remember that moment. I mean, he just fell and sit right at I think right around the free throw line, a little higher at the deal, and just sat there and I'm like. And I didn't say nothing, but I just said he's done. I mean, because then when he walked off, I mean, it was emotional. And again, at that moment, a lot of people, thought that you were, that without him you couldn't move on to win that fifth one.
And Drayden did everything he was supposed to do to be ready for all of these moments. And excuse me. There's just he had a surgery recently that is hopefully gonna shine some positivity on his situation in terms of his recovery. We're hoping to turn the corner with him. He will have another ACL surgery. There was a partial on that one, but man, credit to Dre. He had his PT and docs and other trainers really getting him ready for the season. And we got a lot out of him, but when he went down, it was difficult for him, for us especially, and getting the news that he was out for the season. We'd been there before. Ironically, coincidentally, he lost his season the year before against Rio Rancho. And so, but played a big part this year, and couldn't have done it without him, really.
Well, the biggest thing about him, from my perspective, is he would talk to me. I got to know him and it was be like, I'd see him in the hallway or before the game, or even when he's on his crutches or anything, and he was so positive. I can now, when you're talking about him, I can see the value of what he brought to the team. I didn't realize he was, still that active moving forward with the players.
Yeah, he was, and that was his way of staying connected. But our kids, our guys, wanted him a part of us, and it was important for them too. He was our vocal leader, and so just physically he couldn't lead us, but vocally he still did.
Well, this year was probably, every year is special, okay? But this year was really, you having to reinvent your coaching and getting prepared from a different way, it was remarkable. And you think about it, even with Coach Smith when I was talking to him, he knew you were going to take some hits and dealing. And let's kind of start that off with. It started off with LaQuava, the first, one of the first games of the season.
Yeah, and that was our first home loss that we've had in several years. We don't remember back when, but that was important for us.
I was trying to find that out during that game, so I hope I didn't bring it when you were here, Sebastian and I talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Got to blame somebody. But it was an important game for us, and that was it wasn't a turning point because we had other moments throughout the season that were similar to that LaQuava game, and so there were some issues there. This team, Steve, was not perfect. We weren't even close to it. We were flawed, and that's what made it special. And you accumulated in the state championship game. You saw a flawed team out there, but you saw a team that always found a way. A tough team, a team that when David Lund gets in foul trouble, I didn't tell him to get into a corner. They're just like, you know what? Let's get to the end of these quarters. And let's give Dave the best chance to get back out here with us. That was their conversations. That's what they wanted to do. So I supported that. But throughout the year, we accepted the fact that we are not a perfect team. We have our issues. What are we going to do with these issues? And I thought we made the most out of being a team that had issues.
Well, I didn't look at it that way. I thought it was more, of figuring out, back to the, I think getting to the word trust. I think that was the biggest thing. Is everybody knowing what they really needed to do, where the ball needed to be, and and I did, like I said, 6-7 games, maybe even 8, counting the state tournament, maybe more than that, but it was timely shots from not just one individual. Okay, that was, somebody always seemed to step up for their role. And I get this comment from Norm Ellenberger is like the weakest defender on the other team, and this player would be the guy that's probably the go-to guy tonight because of who's the weakest of nil. And it just seemed like that happened. And I never mentioned it or talked about it, but I always thought that it always reminded me of what Norm Ellenberger said. Hey, you may score 12 points tonight, and the next game you may not score. Okay, you may, and it just seemed like every night somebody, Covell would come through, Cook would come through, and even your son would come through. I mean, that was what was fun for me to watch because it reminded me of the philosophy that I grew up on in basketball.
And with us, it was, where is the help coming from? Because let's have the IQ and the awareness to understand that we want to get the defense in a help and recover situation. So let's find where the help's coming from. David Lund did a great job of that this year, and he did learn from Kenyon, is that there are going to be some doubles. You have to double David. You have to. And where is that double coming from? Is it Spirit in the corner? Is he holding or is he diving? Is it Finn in the corner? Most of the time, Finn's going to hold. And is it Houston after he makes that pass to space off of the pass? Or is it Eli Covell circling under the basket? And we had guys like David who understood that, hey, let me slow this game down. Film helped. Scenarios in practice helped. The double is going to be coming from man or zone, certain areas, and we need to find that person and find that area. And credit to the guys, man. They trusted. Credit to the coaches. There's a lot of preparation in film. David Chiotti helped us a lot. His IQ level is so high that he could help us manipulate some Ds. And so, yeah, it was a fun team to coach because it was a strategic year for us.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and kind of talk about the state championships.
Sure.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We have Greg Brown, head basketball coach at Volcano Vista, new state champion this year, and 5 years in a row, and what a year!
Sure.
But that last segment, we talked about trusting the players, but it might have been one of your best defensive years. I mean because and I always worried that people would get you in foul trouble. You picked up full court. Your guys learned not. Early in the year, David got he was always seemed to be in foul trouble early or whatever. Yeah. And then you adjusted that. He adjusted. But you truthfully you played mostly 6 players most of the year.
That's right.
And staying out of foul trouble and what you did to the other opposing teams. That's very impressive.
Well, we had an interesting challenge defensively this year. We didn't have a lot of depth, and for the first year in probably 5 years or so, maybe even longer, we didn't have rim protect, and had some decent length. But man, there's nothing like having an anchor back there that can cover a lot of your sins, And so it was a work in progress. Who are we going to be defensively? And, it took some time. And we ended up being a team we called a 15 team, where we called it 15 because we switched 1 through 5. And people were thinking, okay, Eli Covell switching onto Remy. That is definitely an advantage for Remy. We understood that. But the way that we defended a kid like Remy, some of those higher level kids, Nico from Highland, is that it was always going to be a pack. It was always going to be, Eli, you're on the ball, but you got Houston, your gap to the right, and he's right there for you. And then you got Luis in a gap to your left, and he'll help you. And you got guys behind Luis and Hughes getting ready to help them if we got to help the helper. The key for us defensively was being connected. And we didn't have a margin of error. And at the state tournament, we started playing our best defense. We got a little more physical. We kind of dug our feet in a little bit more. Started stopping the ball better with our chest and getting hands off. And then we were able to kind of really figure out a dead ball, live ball defense for us where we could keep people off on their heels a little bit. Tried to tinker with a zone. It just didn't fit as much for us. But the way we played man kind of looked like a zone at times. So defensively, I too, Steve, was proud of our guys.
So let's get to the state championship game and a team that, 6 times, in one season.
Oh, yeah.
Some highlights of this thing and kind of talk me through it. There's Covell, doing what he does. So
second one. Eli was a big player for us this year, and we knew in this game that he had to have a big role. We asked him to, and usually he's the type of guy that will step up to challenges. We knew that they're going to be doubling, sometimes tripling Dave. So Eli being available and being aggressive was key for us.
How many dunks did he get this year? Did you ever count that?
A couple.
Couple.
He was one of our only guys, I think, this year that could dunk. I mean, we have a couple younger guys that, Jackson Mangrum is.
It was one of those timely shots.
Yes, that was huge. And there's Eli on the second chance, third chance.
And we talked about this deal. Here's your speech right here coming up real quick with Sebastian. Let's see what we got here.
Get off my head, boys. Those guys that are rubbing my head like that, they're going to be bald one day. They think this is funny. Talking to you guys after the game, man, it's amazing.
Just talk about this team and
It's a
their
blur.
identity.
First of all, God is my reason, win or lose. He's my motivation, and I just feel totally blessed to be a part of this. It was a season that people don't know that what we went through. It was as a team that was trying to find their identity, our identity. And once we started to, Drayden gets hurt. And so I'm reflecting a lot, but it was a special season.
The other thing you said, Coach, that I really picked up on was you said this was an imperfect team. And I would agree. This team has some flaws. But it seems like there was always a perfect game plan, there was always some perfect role players, and there was always some perfect execution. What are your thoughts about that?
And, we embrace being imperfect, We understood that we're going to have some defensive breakdowns at times against Remy. We understood that not all of our shots were going to go. We weren't the team last year. Last year was a near-perfect team. And we had to kind of drop that and leave that where it was and really just kind of deal with who we were and who we are, and I thought we did well.
Last thing on Eli, I think, by my count, you didn't give up an offensive rebound until the midway point of the fourth quarter.
Right.
Can you believe that? Talk about Eli.
Eli Covell, man, he Kenyon's understudy. He did it his way, and he was outstanding tonight, and he deserved every part of it.
I know you know, but the chase for Papa starts right now.
Chase for Papa. Hey, Papa. Chase for Papa starts now. Gonna enjoy this one.
Right.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
What a special moment that was.
So awesome. Sebastian seemed like he's in a little rush for me. Usually I like to take my time with Sebastian. No, it was awesome. It was those post-game interviews after winning a game like that it's beyond special.
Well, something he brought up that I was big on during the game was I never seen it. No offensive boards. I mean, I was like, and I kept bringing it up because I didn't know for sure, earlier in the game that they got one, and then and I thought I had never seen a game really where the opposing team never got on an offensive board, and they didn't get one until later. But that was the key to the game. You limited them one shot, and they got no second opportunities. And what a unbelievable coaching job and players. I mean, because I started watching, and you might want to go back and watch the old triangle drill where you practice and everything. It would seem like every time there was a triangle, you had the triangle on defense,
blocking it out,
blocking it out, and you might bring that up as a deal because I was like. And I didn't bring it up on the air or anything. I'm like, wow, this is like a coach's dream to see what I preach and practice, and these guys are actually doing it in real life game without naturally.
So like the key to our rebounding was our on-ball D. And the fact that we were able to keep them in front of us for the most part, we weren't in scramble. It's hard to rebound when you're in scramble mode, right? You're helping and recovering, and you got a little bit blocking out a big. You give up angles that way. So the fact that we were able to keep the ball in front and have rebounding position was important.
Well, Coach, we're going to come to an end, but no pressure. We have an annual thing for 5 years, so I expect you to be here in 6 years. No pressure with your team. You can use it in a bulletin board, so there ain't no pressure on that. But hey, thanks, congratulations and well deserved.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.